hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. Matty, this is episode 40. Tonight, I'm joined by John. John, how are you doing?
Hi, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Good. You just off the golf course?
Yes. How did you tell?
Just a wild fucking guess. Actually, you messaged us earlier on asking if we could start late because you were at the golf. So.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was this fucking dodgy polo neck
that
golf
did it as well.
Get up shite.
Why do you dress up for the golf? Like, I've never got that. Like, see when you play football and you wear like a football kit, it's practical and that. What's for the golf? I never ever understood it. Why you have to. No offense, why folk dress like twats. Know that you're not dressed like a twat, right? But you see the get-ups that some folk play golf in, and you think, why?
I was out earlier with the missus, and we were talking to someone who says that our brother or our neighbour or something is always telling her to take up golf, and we got chatting to it, and I said to her that we got chatting about things like golf etiquette and golf clubs and whatnot, and I did say that by and large, I thought that golfers were wankers, and I include myself in that, and I don't understand it. Like, I think it's because in this country at least, I think it's because it was kind of seen as like a gentleman's sport, so you dressed appropriately. So it was kind of like going out in your Sunday best when you were on the golf course. I think it's only recently someone else that's played golf longer than about the 6 months that I've been playing, I'll be able to confirm this for you, but I think it's only been relatively recently that you've been able to go out on the course in like shorts. And I think there's a thing now where there's hoodies that are available in a golf range, but I think the sort of more established golfers frown upon them. I know that doesn't answer your question. I think it's just kind of like steeped in tradition in this country at least.
What you should do is go in full fucking ninja costume and see if anybody challenges you.
It's a tradition, isn't it? I mean, they've only just recently let women play.
Aye.
At some courses, so.
There was that high profile one.
Starting, John?
Say that again, sorry?
Did that coincide with you starting?
No.
Oh.
I think there's actually quite a few women that play up Hall. Not that I've actually made their acquaintanceship because the clubhouse burned down at the start of January.
Did that coincide with you starting?
No, that was a few months after I started. What are you trying to pin on me here?
No. I was just saying.
I think you'll be asking me where I was when Madeleine McCann went missing.
No, that's not a podcast.
It was in Portugal at that time, was it not?
It was after it, I have to say.
Just after it.
Just after it. The deed was done. Say the deed was done. Nobody knows what was done. Colin, I want to introduce you. You're on tonight as well. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Aye, good.
You just back for the golf?
You still good? No, I've been walking the dog. Nice night, so. Aye.
Why you dressed like a golf wanker?
This is the rules for the house.
Podcast rules. Right, well, we get some questions done. Good not to Right, first two comes from Niall Kenny. He said, right, questions for the show. One food combination that should go in the bin, and one odd food combination that doesn't get enough praise or love. So, John, you've done weird food combinations before, so this must be right up your street.
Pineapple on pizza can get so far to fuck.
Did I mind a bit of pineapple on pizza? What to say?
No, it doesn't. Hot fruit doesn't. Nah.
What about apple crumble?
Aye, but that's a sweet. That's different. And you wouldn't put apple on a pizza.
No, or the crumble. To be fair, I'd probably try it now that we've mentioned it.
Did you
pineapple in your gammon steak, though? That would be, is that no?
Do you know, I think it's maybe just the sort of sweet and saltiness that I don't like, because I think it's normally a ham and pineapple pizza, and it's just too weird a combination. One of them, I don't know, it's like the pair of them are it's like they're having a battle, the sweet and the savoury, just like sugar and salt coming in at each other.
All right, and what food combination would you keep? A weird one.
Is this something that I eat or something that I find bizarre?
Something that you enjoy. If it's one that doesn't get enough love, I would imagine it's one that you've tried and thought that was decent.
Peanut butter and brown sauce sandwiches.
God, your face said exactly what I was thinking.
Well, Aye, because I was thinking that the weird ones, peanut butter and jam. Like I've heard kind of that's an American sort of thing, but
PB
I've
and
never
J.
tried it. Never tried it.
Peanut
but
butter and jam's
just kinda like
quality.
the sound of it. Aye.
Aye, it's good.
But brown sauce, fuck me. That's just taking it to a different level. It's all they get. It's
It's kind of like the opposite ham and pineapple. It's sort of not adversaries in terms of your palate. It's almost like competing for the same pleasure zone, and then it just works out really, really well.
What were you called?
Well, one I quite like. I don't have it very often, but you ever had just toasted a bit of cheese and jam on it?
Aye.
Sweet and savoury. That's quite nice. The
Cheese and
cheddar
jam,
a
I've
bit of
heard it
strawberry
before, but I've never tried it.
jam. Yeah, it's nice.
Cheese and jam on a piece is good as well.
Aye, so I'll keep that. And I was I can't think of one of them peanut butter and jam, but I've never tried it. I just don't like the sound of it. But you're both telling me I'm wrong, so maybe I need to try it.
You should. It's decent. Peanut butter and Nutella is nice as well on a sandwich.
Oh, you fucker, yes.
Aye.
What I'm actually doing tomorrow is I've got one of the pizza ovens, and I'm going to do one of the I'm doing normal pizzas, but I'm going to do a sweet one as well with Nutella and caramel nipples, kind of wee ones that you get.
Aye.
And some like probably maybe banana or something in a calzone.
Did you say
Superb.
caramel nipples?
Aye, you don't seen them?
Or nibbles.
The
Or nibbles, I thought you said
aye,
like
I've definitely seen
nipples.
aye.
No, I'd love to get my hands on some of them. Like, I
Do
think
you
they exist.
remember as they used to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza, and it was chocolate spread and
Yes.
marshmallow,
Aye.
I think that was on it.
Aye.
That was that recent, or were they still available recently, or was that a long time ago?
So it was when I lived in the Jewel, so
Well, and they were in the, when were they? The 90s, early 90s.
early 90s.
I think they had a baked bean pizza as well, or maybe that was a Heinz one.
No, they did do a baked beans one, which I think was quite popular as well. Obviously, not popular enough for them to keep doing it, but I do like liver. So liver and onion, especially, is probably one of the most rank things that I could think of. Like, so I would.
That's steak and kidneys, another one, eh? Kidney, steak and kidney.
Aye, like I understand
It's the
why.
texture of the kidney.
Aye. At some point, it would have been essential to eat this stuff because there wasn't enough of the other stuff to go around everybody. It's the same with snails. I think I talked about it before. It's like, why do folks still eat snails? Because you don't have to eat insects anyway. There's cows in that you can have. So, liver is one of the bits that you think, if you've tasted it, I don't care why anybody who's tasted liver would keep having it. Why this? I don't care how they managed to sell it more than once. It's just rank. Anyway, so liver and onions, because I don't like onions either. Here's a combination for you, and definitely folk will go for fuck's sake with this one. Bacon roll, ketchup, butter, mayonnaise. So it was a buttered roll, ketchup, mayonnaise with the bacon. Superb.
Do you sort of drizzle the sauce and then the mayonnaise, or do you mix the sauce and the mayonnaise together?
Blob of ketchup, blob of mayo. That's it. Shut the roll up. Nom nom nom. Job's a good one.
See ketchup and mayo together. Does that not start making? Is that not like the start of making the
From cocktail.
rosemary sauce?
Aye. Does work.
Just
There's a
that.
nice combination. Normally, if I'm having a burger, so if I go to McDonald's, I'll get a quarter pounder and I'll get them to add mayonnaise and lettuce onto it. Take off the onion and the pickle because that's rank. Chuck in some mayonnaise and lettuce onto it. Fucking superb.
Where do you stand on the pickle in a McDonald's or on a burger, Colin?
I've boycotted McDonald's for a few months now, but I'm not going into that now. But I used to take it off, but then I just started eating it. I thought it was all right. I didn't mind a pickle. I wouldn't eat it out of the jar. You see folk doing that, like pickles out of a jar and that. You an American programs generally, but
Aye.
I didn't mind it. But I wouldn't eat. If I was building it myself, I probably would go on, but I can't be arsed going in and saying, and take that off and take that off. So just take it as it comes.
Right, fussy bastards before they go to McDonald's and do that. Eh?
Oh, I am. But you get it fresh. This is the other thing to bear in mind is if you want to make sure you get decent food, get something different on it because otherwise you're
Then you go to McDonald's.
It's something that's been sat there for a wee while longer than it should have been, but it absolutely happens. All right, good question. Anyway,
I tell
now
you, can I just tell you, my wife got into McDonald's months ago and ordering stuff.
Aye.
She take the machine. She was in the machine. Can you get the machine and you say minus the gherkin or minus the whatever? She minus the bun or whatever they call the bun. The burger came out just as the burger wrap. She was like, it's the fucking roll. But you ordered it with it. Is it pat? What do they call it? Oh no, did she order it
the
with
beef patty. So
Aye, it may have been. It was one of the. It was either the roll or the burger. She never got. So she either got a roll with lettuce on it, or she got a burger with when you roll wrapped around it.
Ken, why they didn't question that though is because Ken folk are doing Atkins.
Aye,
That.
that's what I said. Aye, I thought it would be something like that. It would be a diet thing or protein, want the protein or something. Fucking over proteins in a McDonald's burger like that.
You used to have a boy came into the McDonald's that was in like a regular, and he'd order a quarter pounder with cheese with no sesame seeds. So
What?
you had rolls that didn't have sesame seeds on them.
Oh, really?
You know, like
I thought I could just imagine some poor bastard at the back picking them up.
But he used to moan like fuck that he had to wait for it every time. I'm like, mate, it's no something we sell. You're being different here. Of course, you're going to have to fucking wait for it. He'd moan, and his favourite phrase was like, "Oh, it's meant to be fast food." And actually, if you want to be a fucking Lampard about it, it's fast service McDonald's. It's no fast food. So that was a good one to go back up as well. Yeah, fucking prick. Anyway, I've hung on to that for a long time. I think why you would moan about it. You're doing your favour, mate. It's not your fault you're allergic. I'm assuming that's why it was. We never tested it.
Just sprinkle them on. There's a wee garnish on top of the burger.
There you go, mate. Off you fuck. Right, the words asked, what are you most likely to be nominated for a knighthood for, and would you accept it? Right, Colin, what would you most likely be nominated for a knighthood for?
I'll tell you, I wouldn't accept it. But what would I be nominated for? I don't know. I don't really do anything for any. I didn't really do anything to help anybody, so. Services
to be a selfish bastard.
No, I can't get any good a day. So, but I wouldn't accept it because
you're on a good barbecue, to be fair.
Aye. Well, I maybe get that. Then a pork quite good on the slow cook or something.
What about you, John?
Beer can chicken.
I can't think. I'm probably the same as Colin. Like I don't think that Colin doesn't strike me as a selfish person at all. It gives me the impression that he's quite a humble person. So there's probably things that he does that people really appreciate, and I'm the same. So services to humility. And no, I wouldn't accept it. Fuck that.
Nah, mine would be for driving because that seems to be all I do. So just by default, it would
Did
be
you see?
Services for fucking driving, and I wouldn't accept either because I'd have to fucking drive to London to get the fucking thing. So, nah.
Who was the boy that was in charge of Dundee United a few years back? His son took over. Was it Thompson?
Yeah,
Eddie Thompson.
He got. I can't remember if it was an MBE, a CBE, or an OBE, but he got. If I remember rightly, it was services to the supermarket industry or something. And I thought, what an absolute pile of shite that is. It was the same. It was like it's when Judi Dench, when she was made a dame, it was services to the acting industry. And I'm like, she's a fucking actress. Like, she's not going out her way to do it. What's the point in that?
Job.
Aye.
Services for doing your job. Okay, Matt Reedy said, what sport would be the funniest if everyone played it drunk?
Have you seen
Shinty with the sticks?
Shinty would be a good manner, like.
I don't know if it'd be funny, it would be quite violent, like.
Same thing, no?
You ever heard of a game called Slosh Ball?
No.
It's basically rounders, but at every base there's drink, and you just drink the entire time.
So does this not happen already then when folk are drunk? You want them to be more drunk to play this?
Aye. Just get more and more drunk. Or have you seen is it Zorb football?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's funny enough when people are just running about sober. Just chuck some alcohol into the mix. That'll be pretty good.
Boxing or UFC would be decent, eh? Like, I think the UFC probably more likely to see some just more overt rule breaking Harder to tell when they break the rules in that though.
Turn into a Rammy on Lothian Road.
I was just going to say that. It'd be like standing outside Century or the
All
kitchen or
the-
something.
But they
All the
start
forming
screaming at each other.
technique.
That's it. Screaming, even after it's finished, still screaming at each other. They're walking away with their pals holding them back.
Put me back in that.
Aye,
Aye.
Someone's
My jacket.
girlfriend coming in. Just fucking leave him.
It's no worth it. We used to, when I had my flat, me and my mate, flat mate Adrian, in the living room that we had, they had like a lowered ceiling. Fuck knows why they would do this, right? But a lowered wooden ceiling, and we had an old football, and we would play a game that we called Skiffy, and you sit at either end, either corner of the room, and you had to throw the ball and just get it to skiff the ceiling. So if it hit it too hard, that was thumpy. You lost a point for that. And if you didn't hit it at all, that was messy. Right, so no points for that. But if you got a skiffy, it was like 5 points. A fucking great game, especially after a few drinks. I imagine it would annoy the fuck out of everybody else in the flat and folk above us. But if you've got a football kicking about your house, I would highly recommend just.
And are we
See
talking
if you
size
could-
5 metre, Delta, or something?
Aye,
Just
size-
ordinary football.
Just an ordinary football.
So the game is called Skiffy.
Skiffy, you just.
But if you hit it too hard, it was called Thumpy.
Thumpy. That was what that shop was called. It was a thumpy.
Sorry, when it's
I
someone
wanna-
else's house. Eh?
Aye. Didn't
What you
take it
doing?
in your
What
house.
you doing in your house? If you're renting, that's all right.
Aye. Sorry if you're renting. Aye.
Did you ever play that game stoned? I'd imagine that would be pretty good as well.
In various states, I would say, if we had a game of Skiffy. Aye, I would recommend it. Ricky said, how many clubs did it take a player to become a journeyman? Easy answer.
That'll be 15, is it?
15. Aye. And would you rather Scotland beat England but fail to go through, or get beat off England but go through?
Definitely
Go
go through.
Aye. Your job.
I'm at odds between pragmatism and get it right fucking up them. So you want to go through. You want to go as far as possible.
Aye.
It's harder to get knocked out than it is to stay in the first round as well. There's something like 16 teams go into the next round and 8 go out.
Is that right? We'll
Aye.
find a way, won't we, to go out. Like,
Aye.
that's
5th best third place or something will be. That'll
Aye.
be us out.
a goal difference.
Aye.
Probably, because we've missed a penalty. WTC 1981, what's the upper age limit of the child for using the parent and child spaces in car parks?
That's a good question.
I'm going to say
15, no.
I'm going to say if the child no longer uses a pushchair, then get yourself into the normal parking spaces. Because I think the parent and child, as I've discovered recently, there's an extra bit of room for you to get in and out with the buggy.
Aye.
Yeah. I agree with you. However, I did use one on Sunday night out with my nearly 14-year-old. I went, well, we just go out. She was nipping in for crisps or something. So I'll just dive into one in that space.
What
So-
time was it?
It was late on, so I was thinking, well,
Aye.
it should be at this time. And it was about 8 o'clock or something, 7 o'clock,
Aye.
8 o'clock
Proper
Sunday night.
parents will be in their bed. by
Should be in
that
their
time.
bed.
You're
Aye,
right.
School them on.
Where do you stand on that then? So, like, I'm somebody who would be dead against using a dedicated space, right? So, a parent and child are a disabled space under normal circumstances, right? But sometimes I'm at Tesco, as you know, unsociable hours. You maybe kicking in at 11 o'clock. Is any space fair game at 11 o'clock, or is there still a wee bit of you probably shouldn't go in one of the close-up spaces at that point?
I wouldn't park in the disabled at that time, but park my parent child at that time.
Why no? This is what I was thinking about. I was thinking, like, what practical difference does it make at that point? Because there's tons
No, I
of
know. Mhm. I think
I wouldn't
it's
either, by the way. I've
because-
not done it. I just
meant to have a-
question it.
I think it's because you might have a blue badge to park with disabled, whereas the parent and child's just it's just sort of guidance rather than a rule.
Aye. I think when the kids are old enough to open the door without tanning the car next to them, that's
Ah,
probably
well.
the point.
That's adults do that.
Aye,
Aye.
that's true.
So
My missus done it the other day.
Adults only do it when folk can't park right though. See, when somebody
No.
parks right on the fucking line.
my car was going back a couple of months ago, and I was running about trying to get it fixed because somebody in Tesco or Asda had banged it. And it wasn't me because it was somebody on it was passenger side. Definitely, and I always park right. So
maybe
it wasn't me.
maybe there was the
Well, what were they doing in the front? They shouldn't be in the front. If they're a bear, they should be in the back.
aye. All right.
But we're all, hang on.
Anyway,
You can't say that when we're all rule breaking here.
I said I didn't rule break.
I'm all right to break the rules. I'm all right to break the rules.
I said I didn't. I mean, my kids are not too old for it now. Anyway, I couldn't park in a parent and child.
The amount of disabled spaces are incredible as well. There isn't, I mean, there isn't that many disabled people, and there's loads of spaces. There must be a set quota they've got to do or something.
I think there is. I think there's a set percentage that they need to do. Because you think
15%.
most of them, most of the time I go, the majority of the spaces are free. But then I suppose if everybody started using them, they'd get used up first because they're good spaces.
I was at Morrison's the other day and I saw a car parked in the disabled bay, and the only reason I saw it was because it had a sign in the back of it that said that not all disabilities are visible, and I thought, aye, that's fine, but that doesn't give you an excuse to park like a wanker. Obviously it was parked fucking diagonal in the space.
But not all disabilities need a special parking space as well, by that same token. Do you know what I mean? Folk consider things like dyslexia a disability, and if you're dyslexic, you didn't park closer to Tesco, you didn't need more room for your parking.
But you wouldn't know what space you're parking in either, because you wouldn't know what to read the...
It's got the sign. So, right, Liam asked, Cliff Pike said on the podcast that he thinks the best way to die would be in a Derby goal celebration. What do you think is the next best way to die? Gammed to death.
Sorry, that went through everybody's mind at the same time.
That's you're thinking the way to word it. It's true though, isn't it?
I think, was it the bassist for The Who? He died in a Las Vegas hotel room after a cocaine and stripper binge. That sounded pretty good.
That's decent. Michael Hutchins was a bad way to die, though, eh?
Aye. Was it David Carradine went the same way?
Oh, I don't know.
Autoerotic asphyxiation. That's a bit
danger
bizarre,
one.
isn't it? Eh? Aye.
I just think
Strangling yourself.
where do you get to the point where you go, like the normal one's no good enough? Do you know, you're thinking, I'm gonna strangle myself, and
how do you find it out?
Aye, that's another bit. How do you find it out?
Well, that's a good question. Do you find that you like being like do you have a Tommy Tank one day and then just put your hand in your throat? Like, is that how it works?
Carry a bag over your head or something.
Just see one lying about in the bathroom, like, oh, aye.
I remember reading a story. Who was it? It was like a kind of a world record. But it was a Brazilian teenager had basically wanked himself to death, and they reckon it had like over 300 wanks. And I was, how would you count? Aye, like it, consecutively, and it killed him. Right, so he died doing that. But how would you ken how many he'd had? Unless, like, was he keeping a wee tally?
Yeah. He must have.
And then,
or wads Andrex in his bedroom.
Somebody counting. Somebody standing with a clicker. Finished.
Surely there's just like again coming out of the head. I always thought that was the weirdest thing about that story. You know, the fact that he'd done it, just like, how did they ken how many he'd had? There must have been a system for it. And if it was tallies, what I like to think is that wasn't what he was counting, and he's just been labelled as the mega wanker death kid.
Just did his homework or something. I'll just have a wee wank.
He got distracted while he was sitting there. We've all been there.
That sounds an awful lot. That's like five. That's five wanks every hour. I've just worked it out.
Have you? Right.
For
No,
24 hours.
hang on.
No wonder he died.
That's not right. But it's a lot of wanking. Do you think
It
he
is.
switched hands midway?
We'd have to imagine this.
Longer
We'd have
as well,
souls in that. Like, actually, it'd be that would be painful. There's definitely go past the point. He's probably thinking, I might just strangle myself in the next
Do you
one.
think that was how he died? Like, he literally ripped the heat off it.
I mean,
That's impossible. 300 in a day.
Well,
That is
so,
impossible.
I might have got the figures wrong.
It's 12 and a half an hour. Like, for
That's
24 hours
what
solid.
I'm
Need
looking at,
sleeping, and you always got to have a wee nap as well.
Is that your technique, Colin? Just have a wee break midway.
No, midway.
His mum finding him or whatever. Oh, fuck, see, if you just stopped for a meal or a wee sleep, you'd have been all right.
Some of them pairs of socks, I know,
Try to
Maybe
get
got
a,
a good bargain in the favela or something.
try to get a suit to put him in the coffin. You get kind of one normal size arm and one that's absolutely fucking massive. It's been built up that much. Right, Mikey asks, would you rather wake up beside an angry wasp or a skunk?
Good question.
Well, what's
If
the
you
problem
wake
with the
up
skunk?
next to an angry wasp, like presumably it's not woken you up, so you get to find this angry wasp try to kill you,
Or
and you've like whatever time of the day you've woken up, you're going to be a wee bit sleepy, you're going to be a wee bit confused, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Why is this wasp angry at me? You'll be asking questions like that.
aye,
What the fuck have I done to irritate this wasp? And
how
then
drunk
skunk,
was I last night?
aye, and then the skunk, you're kind of looking at it like it's like a ticking time bomb because of the Warner Brothers cartoons. Pepe Le Pew, is it going to stink you?
So what
Was the
would you
skunk
rather?
angry? They didn't say the skunk was angry,
Nah,
so I'd go
skunk.
for the skunk.
Skunk's just, it's a placid skunk. We'll take that from the question. You woke up next to a placid skunk.
But what do you do? Well, like a placid skunk could quite easily turn on you. Like you don't know what's going to make it kick off.
So it might turn on you, but you might turn it on. So
Uh,
how did you end up there in the first place, John?
it's got to be easier to kill an angry wasp as well, rather than try to go after a placid skunk.
You couldn't twat a skunk with a newspaper and have any effect, you wouldn't think. I would say the wasp, just because if somebody else came in, it's easy to explain away a wasp. You go, oh, you fucking get that wasp, get it out the window. But come on, why have you got a skunk in your bed? Even if nothing's happened. Look at Richard Gere. Richard Gere probably didn't even have a hamster up his ass, but everybody thinks he did. So if you had the skunk, yeah, even if it was completely innocent, even if you were offering people to smell them, you would definitely tell if I'd done anything, right? It would be obvious.
Wouldn't know what risk it would just
Folk wouldn't take you up on the offer.
That sounds like that Gary Anderson excuse about, when he was accused of farting on stage. Oh, hey, listen, you can smell it. If it's proof.
All right, Matt's next question. What's heavier, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers? John, we had this one before. They're both the same, ton.
Aye, and I got it wrong. I said that there was a different unit of measurement for the feathers and the bricks or whatever. But then I read into it, and seemingly it's a wee bit more complicated than that still. Depends how you define the weight. Anyway, they're both the same. The simple answer is they're both the same, but I urge you to go and Google it, because there's some weird and wonderful science about it out there.
Aye, we got likened to being Google today for finding stuff out on this show, which I think is only fair.
Aye.
Only
Well,
fair.
I keep saying we are an educational, totally irrational podcast.
Like the BBC.
Aye.
Totally
irrational.
Yeah, something like that. Random dribbles. Does water really go down the plug hole the opposite way in Australia? So have you been to Australia before?
Aye, and do you know I never checked.
I wouldn't be able to. See, when I got there, I wouldn't notice.
I don't know it's the way it goes down here, so I wouldn't know.
Apparently, it's true. Apparently, it does. It goes. Somebody replied to it. It was David Hardy replied and said,
What's it to do with like
where
the equator is or something? What's the?
must be so clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. But it made me think, what other stuff goes the wrong way in Australia?
Does that mean their clocks go that way as well then?
Well, clocks was one of the things that I thought of. And then to eat food, like, kind of be spitting out. Kind of start. It's like that. What was the film Tenet? I saw a wee bit of that. From what I gathered for the film Tenet, they kind of reversed things to make them happen.
How do you have a reverse wank?
You'd have to.
Do you just know do it?
Yes, you can.
It'd just be the same. Well, but the start and the end would be different. No?
Not like you start off really, really excited and then just get less and less so.
Slowed in.
Till you're back to tally marks on your bathroom wall.
299, 298.
Charlie said, would you rather never be able to watch Hibs again or only be able to watch Hibs from 30,000 feet? 30,000 is
Okay,
quite high.
is that how high? Is that like being in an airplane, or is that higher?
Aye,
Than that?
it'd be about that height, I'm going to say.
You wouldn't really see anything anyway.
That's no way to watch them, is it?
What if
Like,
you
I'm
have
assuming.
binoculars or like a really good zoom on your phone, you could maybe get away with it.
Hmm.
And actually, in some cases, it'd be better than some of the dodgy streams that you get when you try to watch the football on the telly.
You'd have to be constantly circling. I wouldn't even call it Easter Road. I'd have to have a wider arc than that. But
Or you could be in a balloon, just
that's true. I'd be a bit chilly.
a coat on.
Get the big
The
winter
choice
coat
is
on.
here, but you're better trying than no bothering at all. So you would try. You would take the 30,000 feet, wouldn't you?
Yep.
That's true.
Because the other option is no, try at all. So.
And you at least when we're playing Hearts, you have a chance to see the ball up close as well.
Catching it, you're like a ball boy out there.
Aye, you go have it back. Alex asked, Arthur's Seat has been there for a really long time. Would anyone really miss it if it was to be flattened and turned into a big theme park filled with pubs?
Do you know,
You'd miss.
if Edinburgh City Council, if they're listening to this, they'll turn into shouldn't flats very, very soon. We're just giving someone an idea.
You'd miss all the photos you get at Easter Road, on like a nice day and all that, or when the rainbows over it and that. That's what Arthur Seat's good for. Got final morning and that, everybody goes and takes their photos.
Aye.
Well, they could build a 30,000 feet high roller coaster and just have it stop at the top when the matches are on, and then we've killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Aye. I don't know why they've not done that already.
I read a thing on
Underbelly, if you're listening.
a thing on Twitter about a guy who'd won an award for designing a euthanasia roller coaster. So,
I remember reading about that. Aye.
So it happened a while back, but apparently it kind of gets brought up. And what happens is the idea is it would take you up to some mad height, and then if you wanted to go ahead with the euthanasia, everybody on the right had to press a button, and then it fired you down towards Earth at some ridiculous speed, and then there was 7 like decreasing loops in size, and basically what happens is you have that feeling of euphoria, and then your body kind of slips in and out of consciousness, and then just the speed kills you, and your heart starts the size of the loops means your heart pretty much stays still and your body spins around it in effect, and then that sends you to a sort of perfect death. And if the first, so in the highly unlikely event that it didn't work the first time, they would just do it again. A second shot on it.
That answers that first question you got as well.
What was that? What was the first question?
About how the best way to die.
Oh, aye, actually, that does answer that. That's a better answer than the one. What is it though? I wonder if you could
Well,
get
if you like roller coasters.
If you get a gam on the roller coaster, you're
at the same time. Imagine the euphoria there. It'd probably.
Why would you want to die if you were getting a gam? In general, though, like never mind you if you were on the euthanasia roller coaster. No, I've changed my mind. This is too good.
You'd be finished by the 7th loop.
We need to check that both parties were happy with the euthanasia as well.
Could you imagine two parties like this? Two parties signing up to that, like men and women both signing up for the euthanasia roller coaster, but there was a blowjob involved. That'd be good. Or we're an equal opportunities euthanasia roller coaster podcast.
Aye.
So men can go down and women as well.
Yep. Any combination is fine.
Aye. Equal opportunities. Men, women, women, everyone. Maybe no animals, that's just taking it too far.
Yeah. It's no fair. The animals can't choose either. Like they couldn't tell you that they wanted to go ahead. Like it's not like they could press the button and say, I'm fine to get killed here. So you'd be taking liberties if you took animals on.
That's true, and we're not an animal cruelty podcast. That's
correct. Right. None of this is tested on animals. Random dribbles. Why is it colder inside my house than out in the summer and warmer than out in the winter?
That's a thing, though. That's real. My house is like that. I think new builds, I don't know, it must be something to do with insulation in the walls or something. To be a boring answer, I think it's true. It's meant to happen.
How do you know they stay in a new build, Colin?
But just generally in houses.
Well, just because his house is doing that, I'm guessing.
You know where he lives.
Who was that asked the question?
Random dribbles at number 49.
No,
It's it definitely is that your house holds heat, but then why is it colder in the winter?
No, it's
Oh, I don't know. It's warmer
it's
in,
not the other way around. It's cold
Cold.
in the summer and warmer in the winter.
colder inside the house than out in the summer. And what? Oh, fucking hell!
It's,
Sometimes I,
it's the opposite of what you would think. It's something to do with
sometimes I think it's
insulation.
hotter in the house in the summer. Something you come inside and you're like, fucking hell! It's even, especially at night. Your house is
I'm
hotter
not
at
like,
night. in the
I can
summer.
sit in here during the day and think I'm fucking freezing. I'll go outside and heat up.
We got the cavity wall insulation a while back. Maybe that's the
Did it make a
problem.
difference?
Aye.
Because I think that's
I
meant
got that
to,
notice.
that's meant to hold heat in.
Aye, it does. But it's a nightmare in the summer at night time because it's just it's ridiculous. You just get sweat lashing if you got the windows open and everything, and it doesn't make any difference. We got one of the Dyson fans, and even with that on, it's still roasting. And it doesn't hoover, so that fucking annoyed me. Right, Alex asked, is there a better name for a shoe shop than Shoes On? They're missing a trick by not having the slogan "Come and get your shoes on." So Shoes On, is that the best name for a shoe shop?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of other ones that I recommend. What is the best named shop that you can think of?
I saw one recently. What was it? It was I think it was like a wee Italian restaurant in Glasgow somewhere. And it was at the back of an Aldi supermarket. And they called it Backy Aldi's.
Aye, Backy Aldi's.
That was brilliant.
There was a tanning shop in Portobello that was called Tanfastic, which I thought was decent. I always thought, remember when designer vaginas were a thing? I thought if you were in that line of business, you could call your shop Fud You Like Spud You Like, but Fud You Like, you come in and pick your in.
What was the designer vagina trend? Was that for like giving women back their virginities? Was it like an artificial way, or was it
the
like
only way is Essex, wasn't it?
Are you talking about like vajazzles and stuff like that?
Aye.
I'll be honest with you, John. Any more than thinking of the Fudge You Like joke, that was all I looked into. I saw that. I thought of the Fudge You Like thing, and then I just left it there. I didn't need to know anymore.
Was that the brain cells starting to peter out at that point?
Aye, because you think it's one of those things that you start thinking about it, and before you know it, you're contemplating choking yourself. Hibs Alan said, "Is it just me, or has Casualty really gone downhill recently? And is there anyone more annoying than Charlie Fairhead?"
No.
I was surprised to hear that he was still in it. So I've not watched
Casualty
since
he
I
must
was at my mum and
be-
dad's.
He must be the one of, if not the longest running soap character. Does Casualty count as a soap?
I must.
Or is that a drama? What's the difference between...
It's an antibacterial soap. Obviously, like just to clean you up before you do the operation. Aye, it's sterile.
Well, who was it? Who was the other one? It was the boy...
Ken Barlow.
Ken Barlow, aye. William Roach, was it? Or
Yeah.
Bill Roach?
Aye. And we were just talking about the night because we had I can't remember what we were watching, but there was an advert that came off for Hollyoaks, and one of the boys that was in Hollyoaks when it first started, he's still fucking in it. He was a chef or something in it about
Tony.
20 years ago. Tony, I think his name is. He's still in it. We were like, fuck me, he's still in Hollyoaks. He must just be a job for life, eh? Like it's probably doesn't pay him fortunes, but it pays him a good living. And he's like the Ian Beale of Hollyoaks. Never seen him in anything else ever.
Somebody commented about Charlie Fairhead that he always looks. What was you, John? Looks
That was me,
to
yeah.
his left. He
I
did that
think he's
with
running the place by now. He must be running in the hospital, working there that long. Like,
I've never seen it.
It must have been the 80s we watched. Well, we watched when I watched it, like late 80s when it used to be on before Sports Scene and that.
Aye,
Sports Scene was on.
Robson and Jerome was in it as well, wasn't he? He was like a kind of trolley
Was
boy thing. Aye, reporter.
Ah.
He was in it before he was in whatever they were in together.
We used to actually at my old man every week be like, right, who's got to get the jump leads? That's what we used to call it.
Call the crash team. They got into VF, call the crash team. That was it every week without fail.
Watching the first 5 minutes going, I reckon it's him. It's got to be him.
Clear, bomb. That's it. Every week. I might start watching it again. He should be running it if he's not already.
Or retired. Fuck me, he's worked long enough to get his pension by now, eh?
You would have thought so, eh? Fucking Tories, ruining it for everybody. Right down the slope. Can podcasts have intercourse? If so, your place or ours? Hibs Talk said no, we can't. So I said challenge accepted. I don't think we can though. So well, not in these
Wonder if
COVID
there's-
times anyway.
Aye, my mind's just gone to a really weird place. I wonder if there's someone that can make a couple of graphics at the Longbangers and the Down the Slope logo. Gave one of them a bobby and the other one
Slopebangers.
no a bobby.
Right, here's one right. So Liam said, do you put water on your toothbrush before or after the toothpaste?
Yeah, I do. That's the second time I've done that now. But I do both actually. I wet it,
Apparently-
put toothpaste on, I wet it again. But
Apparently, you're not meant to put water on your toothbrush or the toothpaste because when you wet it, the water activates the active ingredients in the toothpaste and it starts
Aye.
working before it's supposed to. So if you put it on dry and start brushing your teeth with a dry toothpaste, it's more effective. And you're not meant to rinse it out either. You're meant to keep it on or just spit, didn't rinse. That's actual dentist tips there.
it's amazing.
Aye. So, anyway, I didn't. So to answer the question, I didn't put water on the toothbrush. I only wash it off at the end of the toothbrush.
I like
And
a
what's
man
your
that
teeth
goes on
like?
dry.
Eh?
I know, and there's in spits. What kind of nick is your teeth in?
Terrible, like fucking horrendous. Aye,
Doesn't fucking work, innit?
No.
So mine's alright.
aye.
I've got to carry on doing my day.
Mine's, they're not bad. They're not like I know Charlie Adam. Do you know? Like they're all right. They're all right. All right. 150k on Hamlin Hill. Given that our eyes are on the front of our face, and we are said to not see something coming, would we be better off swapping our eyes and ear positions, and would we hear more things coming instead? Also, would our new eye position help with hindsight? So you'd be like Admiral Akbar. That's what his eyes were in. It's
It's a trap.
for Star Wars. Aye.
Well, the hindsight thing doesn't matter, right? Because hindsight's a thing that happens. That you
Time.
go, once it's happened, you go,
Aye,
oh, I would have
it's-
done it differently, right? So
aye.
no, makes no difference where your eyes are. Fuck, I'm confused with the first thing. So my eyes are where my ears are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Would
think
that
it's
make a
swapping them
difference?
around. Aye.
Why would it make a difference?
It'd be fucking harder to wear glasses.
Yeah. You need to reinvent them.
What's the ear equivalent of spatial awareness, or
Oral
like your periphery? Is it
It's
oral
still-
awareness?
Yeah. It'd still be spatial. I think that comes into like your the oral space would be.
Or things like your depth perception would be fucked up because your eyes would be looking this way. You wouldn't actually be any better. You'd be worse off, surely. How would your brain compute seeing that way
I
or
think
those
that's-
ways?
I think I know it happens. That's why fish never survived like better than they did. They're all right kicking about seeing that, but because their eyes are side on, they could never make it up on the land. Or that's one of the problems. This is basically turned into QI this week.
One of fish's problems is their
What?
eyes.
Aye, their eyes and their lack of being able to breathe outside the water and stuff like that. But
So you know how things, like surround sound TV, for example, if you've got different speakers set up around your house, you can hear different things going on based on what's happening on the TV. But if your eyes were here, you wouldn't be able to hear anything coming from behind you or coming from left or right of you. It would just
See-
be fucking nuts.
see, you sit like that. That's guaranteed to be the YouTube clip again. Isn't it?
That is-
I don't know how you would. You'd have to have like front facing though, wouldn't they? Your eyeballs would have to be like they would have to be fish like.
You'd have to, like out on stalks.
Aye, something like that. I'm not liking it.
Is this the same guy that asks these questions all the time? These
Aye.
fucking body ones, aye.
I just think it wouldn't work. You wouldn't be better equipped to see anything coming. You'd walk into stuff unless you walked like a crab.
Aye.
Side on vision would be alright if you walked like a crab, but when you walk normally, you need to have eyes at the front of your head. So we'll go with that.
Aye.
Are you drawing pictures, John?
Trying to. I'm the artist. So far, it looks like a couple of kidneys and a couple of like handles for a mug.
Just draw a bobby. Right. Next one from 150k in hand. Are sock marks the biggest blight on male nakedness? It's hard to look good naked. Well, hard to look good naked anyway when you're this size. But
I do worry about sock marks and
Aye.
that, man. It's like, definitely no sock marks on it.
I try to point down towards them just to say as a distraction. They're about the best line going.
Do you do the wee sexy theme tune as you do so?
Eh?
The socks on, man. Eh? Keep them on.
How else you meant to get a wasp into your bed? Aye, they're not a good look, eh? Sock marks. Anyway, right, dogs like to lick their own balls. If you had this ability, would you do it? And we're not talking self-fellatio here, but actually lapping of your clacker sack. That was again for 150k on Hanlon Hill.
What would be the need to? Like,
Well-
if you could, why would you? Because it's no pleasant down there.
I have to say it's no. But that's like the joke is like, why do dogs lick their own balls? It's because they can. And so if you take that logic, why would you know? But you didn't lick any of the other part of you. Like I didn't sit licking going, oh, can I have a wee lick in my hand or in that? So I didn't think I was to start going, oh,
That might be the YouTube thumbnail. You just like George Galloway.
aye, well, it will be definitely. That will get
No,
shut
what you
down.
tits back, you know.
I've come close, but nah. So I don't think I would start. That's but I don't know. What about you, John?
What was? Would I like my own clacker sack? No,
Yeah,
no interest in it whatsoever.
Colin.
No, I think I would. No. I don't know. If I could reach, I would. How do we
Is
kind
it-
of reach? Is it because we've tried? I don't know.
Is it not a wee bit uncomfortably close to your arsehole? Like, that's got to be one
Aye.
off-putting aspect of it.
Mm.
Aye, there's quite a few off-putting aspects. That I'm totally honest with you. It probably isn't the time to list it, but right. And last one from 150k on Hanlon Hill is Abracababra the best name for a fast food joint? It is decent. The best
That's
kebab
pretty
shop on Leith Walk. Surely that's the best name for it.
Is that the name of it?
That is called the best kebab shop or the best kebab.
You ever been in?
And-
Had one?
Yeah, really good. And you get, they do really nice roast potatoes as well.
What makes a good kebab?
Normally, I was going to say something. I think if it's because normally a Turkish guy or a. But I think that's Turkish kebab. I'm on safe ground saying that.
Aye.
To answer your question, a good kebab, just I suppose the doner meat's nice sauce on it. I'm no bothered for salad.
Apart from that, I mean, a bit of bread's a bit of bread. Like a salad's a salad. Chili sauce. Well, I suppose chili sauce it could make a difference.
Aye.
But the meat, like,
Aye,
all
the
looks
meat's
the same. Eh? So how would you care if you for the good
Well,
one, really?
so you get a mixed kebab. That's what I would normally go for. So you've got lamb, the chicken, and the doner meat, and you could definitely get good ones and bad ones if they're no cooked nice or the chicken's not the best or whatever. The doner meat, if it's been out too long, isn't that nice?
Because we're dry in that. Eh?
Aye.
When you were in Germany for Oktoberfest, Matty, did you ever get a kebab
So
when you were over there?
I tell you what, I got. There was a kebab shop that did them on the way back to the hostel, and they did a box. So you had this box that had chips, salad, doner meat, some chicken in it, and it was like all layered up. It was fucking fantastic. They shut quite early though, which was annoying. So we caught it one night when we were on our way back, but the other 2 nights we were there, we were too late heading back home, and I was gutted because I would honestly have had that every night if it had been open. So it's their loss really.
Aye.
This just reminded me of one of the first questions. Chips, cheese and gravy. You ever had that?
Aye.
I thought I wasn't sure if it was a thing because it was when I was at Isle of Man. It was like the delicacy over there.
Aye,
instead of
poutine.
kebabs.
Is it poutine, something like that?
Poutine?
Poutine. Aye.
What about chips, cheese, and curry sauce? You ever have that?
Nah, I'm not a big fan of curry sauce. I like a curry. Didn't really like curry sauce. Like you get for the chip in that.
Aye. It's a bit. No, it's not bland. Bland's the wrong word. I was going to say it's a bit general. It's just a bit spicy sauce, isn't it?
Aye.
It's not really curry as such.
No. But chips and cheese is good. Chips and cheese and gravy. I'd probably have chips and gravy or chips and cheese.
You ever get, Matt, you're maybe the wrong person to ask this because you were saying about the curry sauce there, but fish supper for the chippy and get yourself a wee side of curry sauce and dip your fish in it.
No.
Your battered fish. Oof.
Brown sauce on the fish. Brown sauce and a fish supper. We were up in Anstruther at the weekend, and so we had fish supper, but got a single prawns and batter, and they were fucking unreal. If you go, everybody talks about the fish and chips. Try the prawns. The prawns are like different level. Superb.
Have you done prawns in your air fryer yet?
No, but
Make yourself a wee batter mix.
Aye. You can't do a wet batter in it. You have to get pre-battered ones. Aye.
Oh, right, okay.
It's no, because it doesn't preheat. So your wet batter would just make a fucking mess everywhere. But
Your air fryer doesn't preheat? That sounds shite.
does it need to?
Mine's preheat.
Does it? Does it need to preheat? You put it in.
I stick on a
It's
preheat.
like that. Oof. What do you
I
need
still
that
carry
for?
the wet batter in it
Aye.
to heat it up.
Does it need to heat to preheat?
Must be a day. It must, nah.
You go 200, press the button, and instantly it's like fucking 200 straight away.
It can't be.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You do
Science
it.
says no.
Right,
I'm like Colin on this.
I'll tell you what, right? See, I turned it on the other day, and I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot to put something in. So I quickly opened it and went to grab the tray, and I touched it with fucking roasting. And that was like seconds after it had been on. So
if you wanted to go to 220, it would be 220 instantly. How can that possibly be?
Mine always goes up to 200. I might go up to 220. I've never tried going higher than 200 on it. Never needed to.
150 then, fuck's sake.
150. Aye, so we do pan au chocolat or a croissant in it, 150 for 5 minutes, and you could take it after 2 minutes, it'd be hot. Like it's gone.
It can't be at 150 when you first put it in. Because it can't go from 0 to 150.
You're talking seconds. This thing is good.
What is it, the fucking DeLorean air fryers?
Right? No, listen. You're laughing, but there's no preheating required in this thing. You just literally open the door, put the stuff in, put it on, bang, that's it. If it needed to go in for 2 minutes, you've got 2 minutes at that heat. Consistent. So, you're sitting doubting me there. No need to preheat it at all. Actual factual. I've never had any need to preheat it for any reason. So
Okay.
Aye. Fight. Jay Caldwell asked, would Josh Doig to Arsenal and remain in the Hibs on loan be a good deal for all three?
Yes.
Definitely would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
El Steak Pie, Jeff. Oh, what are you button for?
I was going to say, it has to be written into his contract that the Arsenal supporters call him Dougie Tripod. And Sky Sports commentators and BT Sport and everyone around the world.
Yeah.
Dougie Tripod. And no one will ever know why.
Just D Tripod on the back of his shirt. Number 3.
Just in case he's got a wee brother.
El Steak Pie Jeff asked, have we found out who let the dogs out, or have we just given up on that one? So I think we asked that last week, didn't we? And
we mustn't have answered that. I was going to say we must have changed the subject on that one. Do it again. Change the subject again.
Aye, we really can. It's unlikely we're ever going to find out. 150k on Hamlin Hill again said, does anyone know the correct way to San Jose? And what time is love? KLF are more interested in burning their cash than giving the answer to this. And does anyone actually ken the Muffin Man? So lots going on in that question. Do you ken the Muffin Man?
No.
That would be a shite superpower.
Were we talking about the Muffin Man recently?
Not that I remember. What context would it have been, John? Ask if you knew him.
It's definitely came up. It's like a nursery rhyme or something.
Would you trust somebody called the Muffin Man to watch your kids?
Would you fuck? I mean, that's a sure sign that your bairns are going to get interfered with.
Well, and how nice would the muffins have to be for you to consider it?
You ever had a good muffin? Like have you ever had a muffin that you've thought
So
that's one of the finest things I've ever sampled?
You talking sweet muffins or sausage and egg muffins for McDonald's levels? What type of muffin are we talking?
Homemade or shop bought? Well, I was going to say non-mass produced to try and keep McDonald's out of the equation. I'm talking sweet muffins.
Sweet muffins. Yes, I have had nice ones before. Can't tell you where, but
nice enough to be
it's a secret. No, I just
touched
can't
up
remember.
within Muffin Man.
Aye. Nah. I think you've got to have limits, haven't you? It have to be a really good muffin. Do you know? Master Chef level. I can't know if anybody's ever made muffins at Master Chef. Right. Anyway, the correct way to San Jose. That song wouldn't exist these days because folk could just put it in their sat nav, like Show Me the Way to Amarillo and all that. Just plug in your sat nav, mate.
Face on, isn't it?
Aye. You'd find a way, no bother.
But you must have been driving before sat nav was a thing, right?
Yeah. Mat nav, that's how I came my way around. Mat nav, that's what Jake called Mat nav because I came my way around everywhere.
Have you ever had to drive somewhere like pre-sat nav days or pre-mat nav days and just felt like, say, a relative's house down south that you'd never travelled to before? Did you know how to get there?
Aye.
How did you do it?
A map in that before.
You'd have to look at a map.
Like, did you ever get like the AA road plan and just sort of like plot it out?
You'd have that. You'd have to have a look before you went and kind of jot down the directions.
I hope you remember.
Aye, I don't think, because I only started driving 8 years ago, I've always had sat nav to find places.
Do you know, I got a sat nav just before they started putting it in fucking phones. That's typical, Like just.
Was that a TomTom?
It was. It was a TomTom. Aye, that annoyed me. The other thing I did, I remember buying a smart TV and being all fucking chuffed on myself because it had iPlayer and that on it. And literally the next day, Xbox did an update to their dashboard that put fucking everything on it. Everything that was on my TV, I just spunked a load of money on, was available on the Xbox that I already had.
Were you would have been a mini disc man, were you? Did you have a mini disc?
I had a mini disc. I got a mini disc in July 1999 was when I got
just before Apple invented iTunes.
Aye, it wasn't long before the MP3s and that became a thing. Mini discs were fucking magic. See, used to, obviously before mini discs you would make a mixtape and you would be kind of recording off on the hi-fi, either off a record or off a CD or whatever. And then mini disc you could make your mixtape on a mini disc but better quality, but you could delete the stuff and then write over it. It was incredible at the time.
It was just a small CD. It was just a small CD.
It was in a wee plastic case. So didn't you ever have a portable CD player? Like if you ever had like a Walkman but with a CD player, they were shit. Like they just jumped the whole time.
You get them in your pocket or your inside pocket.
Aye, ridiculous. So the most impractical things going. But you wanted one because you wanted to have like your music moved. It sounded better and all the rest of it. Mini disc didn't jump about. So if I was cycling to work or on the bus or whatever, it wouldn't jump. You could go kicking about the place without any interruptions to your music. I've still got that somewhere. I think it's in the loft. The mini disc player. I don't care if it will still work now, right enough. The battery's probably up. But
it was there must have only been a couple of years. They were quite expensive when they first came out, so you would have probably got it then, and then they can be obsolete long after that.
I got what was the albums I had on it? I had Play by Moby, I had Moon Safari by Air, The Man Who by Travis.
That's an era, eh?
Aye, because you get an idea of where it was.
Yeah.
Can't remember what other ones I had. There was with like the Fatboy Slim. Had that one. What was his? Can't remember Rockefeller Skank and all that. And Praise You. I can't remember the name of that album.
I came on to me that kind of name either.
Anyway, I can mind the picture of the cover and everything. The wee fat kid with the brown jumper, like with the number 1 on it. Or I just can't mind the name of that album. Anyway, right. Leon asked, did we answer the question? I think we did. With the constant negative comments and reactions to everything Hibs do just now because of last season, I'm wanting to use the phrase snowflake towards certain fans. Does that make me a Hibs gammon? Do you know, we got called out the day somebody said that we were... So, for context, right, I'm going to set the scene a wee bit. Last time we did a Hibs poll was the Player of the Year one. Like, you can only do 4 options on a Twitter poll. So I picked 4 players, And then folk moaned that I hadn't included the player that they thought that it should have been, right, which is fair enough. Even though I set out in the text of the tweet to say we couldn't pick everybody. If there's anyone there, tweet me who it is. So even though we'd said that, and then Alex of Shortbangers Questions fame complained that we didn't have Hibs 3 Rangers 2 as an option because he always puts that on his Twitter poll. So I did a wee fun poll this morning for the strip, right? And again, it wasn't serious. There was no option to say that you didn't like it, right? So there was 3 options to say it was really good. And the last one for Alex, I put Hibs 3 Rangers 2. And somebody quote tweeted our tweet. I put Hibs 3 Rangers 2. This is the exact reason we will never progress as a club.
Exactly.
And we have the cheek to laugh at Hearts for writing up 5-1. I was thinking, the exact. Have you thought this through? The exact reason. So, I didn't worry about recruitment, who we've picked as managers, or the coaching players or anything. I've put a tweet the day they mentioned Hibs 3 Rangers 2, and that. So I want to go on record because I did not realise the impact I would have when I tweeted that. I thought it was just a bit of fun. Knowing now the impact that I've had and that I've fucking held us back, I want to go on record and apologise to everybody, especially the folk at Hibs who have invested a lot of fucking money into that team, time and effort. Everybody who thought we might win the cup. I'm fucking sorry. I did not realise. I just thought it would be. In fact, I did it purely to make Alex smile. For that, like a nice thing to do for one person. That was it. If I'd known the consequences, I would never have done it.
That's shocking.
So I apologise. I reckon if that answers Leon's question, I reckon if he's a Hibs gammon, or no, maybe we're Hibs gammons because we moan about it all.
What's a gammon again?
So a gammon's like an angry red-faced gadget, like in middle-aged.
Question time.
Right.
Pro-union.
Brexit.
Pro-Brexit.
like
Nigel
farmers,
Farage loving unionist.
Doesn't like equal rights. Fucking thinks everything's a PC brigade.
Right.
So good go nice with a bit of pineapple.
just no on a pizza. Ron Burgundy said, "Are most chocolate bars getting smaller, or are we getting bigger?" Obviously, curvy is the exception. So you're getting a wee bit praise there, John, for being svelte as bit.
Svelte.
The Swedish Kevin does, but chocolate bars are getting smaller
all the time. Aye,
it's so they can keep the price down. That's it. They have there's a price folk won't pay over. It's unpalatable for a Mars bar, etc. A Freddo. So rather than bumping the price up and keeping them the same size, they've reduced the size, and there's also a bit of pressure to get the amount of sugar in them down. That's why
I thought it was maybe the sugar when you spoke about that last week about sugar puffs or whatever they're called now.
Aye.
So I thought it was maybe that, but the pricing thing would make sense. But they are tiny now. Used to the size of the Mars bars now, like what a snack size used to be back in the old days. I don't know if you get a snack size anymore because they've kind of replaced it with the original.
You do. You get them because, especially at Halloween time, if you want to get bags of the fun size ones.
Fun size for them.
Oh, fun size are right enough. So
snack size in the middle.
Sometimes you get like a multi-pack of Wispas, and they're smaller than the ones you would buy if they were singles. Yeah. That's fucking annoying when that happens because you see the
try to save yourself a wee bit of cash and you get.
Think, happy days. Aye, I've actually got some bounties for the night. I was going to have them, but I hadn't had my tea yet. So
dark chocolate.
No, milk chocolate ones. Never saw the dark chocolate ones.
Still good.
I like it. These are good.
Can't go wrong with bounties.
You're definitely no sleep in the night, like.
Yeah.
No started your tea and then you're going to
steak and bounties for dessert.
I've got my record tonight. If I'm going to be awake anyway.
He's going to be tweeting shite hours of the
night. Ron Burgundy again said, "Is retail therapy, or if retail therapy is a thing, is taking something back retail therapy? Retail therapy surely doesn't work if you're a shopaholic."
No, that's just feeding an addiction, right?
Yeah. Aye, if you're taking it back, then do you think that would work then? Do you think it would balance out the good feeling that you had for shopping if you then had to take it like, I'm feeling shy, I'm going to go to treat myself, go around the shops, you do it, on your way home you think, I probably shouldn't have done that, so you take it all back. Do you think you feel good because you've no spent all your money? Or do you think you're back to feeling shite because you never bought yourself all the things that you wanted?
I stopped listening about halfway through that.
Aye.
What were you saying?
15.
Does anybody
started-
actually go to buy stuff to make a sale? Like if they're on a downer, that's what they would.
Aye, folk do that. Like
Is that a thing? Yeah.
Aye, good. That's the excuse I use. Usually.
Yeah.
Mini
Go
display.
buy a mini disc.
Sell Bold Gordo said, with the club using the hashtag "This is our city" slogan, is there someone at Hibs who can sort out the spaces for people, nonsense, and potholes? I don't think Hibs have thought that through with the "This is our city," because if you're claiming ownership, then you're probably taking responsibility for a lot of the things like that.
Imagine the size of our transfer budget if we could start getting the council tax funneled towards Hibs.
Aye, it would be decent.
And then if we could start with the brown envelopes and that as well, like
Aye.
going on in the council.
We could just ignore all planning permission things that we had to go through that some other clubs didn't. William asked, anyone else not care about the Euros? I'm quite looking forward to it, I have to be honest with you.
I really enjoy Euros and World Cup competition. Like on the odd years, you know how you've got, so what is it? This is Euro 2020, albeit it's 2021. So you'd have the World Cup next year. You should do.
It's next December.
So actually, this is that weird period where we're going to get post-season football back to back, and we wouldn't normally get that because it'll be 2024 again before we see it. Is that right? Aye. So fucking enjoy
next
it.
Year, the
Well,
World Cup's in the middle of the season next year because it's in Qatar, isn't it? So it's like I don't know the World Cup finals in like December the 20th or 21st or something.
oh shit! So does that mean that we have a winter break, or like everything shuts down regular season wise for the
Not
World
sure
Cup?
what they're going to do.
No
Not
idea.
sure what they're going to do.
No idea.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. I've got flags and everything for the hanging at the windows.
Aye, but have you got an England flag up?
You see that? What a thing you get upset about it. Kaiser Soze said, see how you see those videos of the Yanks getting their necks and backs cracked? Who does that?
Brave
Chiropractors, isn't it?
fuckers.
Chiropractors and...
And brave folk.
Aye.
You ever had it
So-
done?
Nah.
No, I'm tempted. I'm
Brilliant.
tempted though.
Only go if you've got. I've only had it done when I've had a sore back or a sore neck. Okay, I've no went just to get cracked, but
Did
when I
they
was playing rugby and that's amazing.
lie you down and push on your back, or did they...
Aye.
So some folk can grab you like a Heimlich manoeuvre.
I've had that as well. But I've had the main one I've had is just when they'll give you like a massage almost, and then they'll get you to breathe a certain way or lie on your sides. The other one, and then put your leg up towards your chest, and they'll push you back that way, and it's like a ripple. And honestly, the instant relief is amazing. The neck one's the one where it's like when you see the SAS going and killing somebody. It's like you're getting mad.
Is it like that?
If you've got a tight neck and you get that done, it's instantly better. It's amazing. But you're sitting there going, fucking hell, he's got to do my neck. But you need to relax for it to work, because if you're tensed up, it's got to be slower or no work. So,
Aye, fucking
amazing.
try to
That's
relax.
brilliant.
Well, I could paralyse you.
Okay, well, I'd be quite tempted to just try and make my head goes floppies in right after it, just to give him a fright. What you done?
Just to stop responding.
I know, I got it done with the physio when I played rugby. I got it done with the physio. My neck was so, I couldn't barely turn my neck. And I knew he was going to do it. And he's going, I'm not doing that. Just relax your head. And he was moving my head about and that. And he's going, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to. No, did he fucking do it? Just as soon as he can, you're relaxed enough. And honestly, you're like, oh, fuck no. But the build up to it's horrible because you know he's going to do it. But no, it's brilliant.
Aye.
Recommend it.
I wonder who's filming it though. Perverts. Right, Mike asked, are turkey dinosaurs classed as critical food supplies? Aye.
There was a time I would have said aye, and it was the time that Bernard Matthews did Turkey Drummers, and you didn't get Turkey Drummers by Bernard Matthews anymore, and Turkey Dinosaurs are not a replacement.
He's dead, right? Bernard Matthews. He died a wee while back. It was on the news. Remember it? Do you think the turkeys had anything to do with it? Do you think they've been plotting?
Just fucking rose up against them.
That's like, fucking had enough of this boy.
Had a big Christmas dinner. Just cooked them.
I was sitting with the paper hats on and that. We've been fanning them up for years. Ready? Aye. Right. Ainster Hibs said no Googling. What is an NIHB UHL? NIHB UHL.
I reckon it's going to be a Soviet sex toy.
Is that what your experience of them is?
Yes.
Well, UH is usually ultra high, so ultra high, and I think it would always be latency, something like that, or
It's going to be like a lead for a computer or a TV or something, eh? Like some sort of connecting cable.
Surely they wouldn't ask a question about that. It's a bit fucking boring, isn't it?
unless it's got a good answer. That's the thing. Like we need.
Aye, but that's what I'm saying. Can it be a TV cable? You know what I mean? That's an HDMI. It's like the equivalent of HDMI.
Aye, it need to be something better than that. I wonder if it's an air fryer. It's an air fryer that doesn't need preheated. Right, last question of the night. John, are you Googling it?
No, I'm trying to assign words to the letters, so I've got non-inhibiting half, and that's what I got to.
All right. Wish I hadn't asked. The last one comes to chatter. I said, Mel Gibson is my favourite anagram. Can you work it out? And if so, what's your favourite? Mel Gibson.
What's your favourite? So is that a clue to what the answer is?
No.
No.
I don't think so. I think I know what the anagram is.
You could get minge out of Mel Gibson. So what does that leave? What letters does that leave me?
Hang on, I'm writing this down. I'm trying.
Lobs. Was it Lobs? LOBS.
No,
Lobs minge.
I think.
How have you done that?
I think it's not saying it's right. It's just.
I'm just guessing. I probably used 2 letters.
I think it's Big Melons.
You see.
I think it is.
I like Lob's Minge as well. Just purely because of the brain power that Colin exhibited there. I've got fucking scribbles and hangmen and all sorts of shit on this A4
I
pad.
think Lob's Minge is right, by the way.
Is it?
Aye.
I just, I like doing countdown and picking it, try to go, I always try and pick a word like minge or whatever. I'll do it 4 and 5 words, 4 and 5 letters, that's all I get when I play countdown.
I don't have a favourite anagram. It's not something I've ever thought about.
No. Did we not get asked a similar question before? Was it?
We had anagrams of Hibs players,
Aye.
didn't we?
It must be Big Melons.
It is Big Melons. Well, it might be Lob's Minge. I just assumed it was Big Melons because it was. Excuse me. It was easier. Like it. Lob's Minge is better than Big Melons, like that.
Have I got the right letters? Or have I used one twice?
I think you're right. My quick calculation, looking at the words Mel and Gibson. Will be yes. Aye.
Is it?
Well done.
I'm happy with that.
Aye. You should. We're going to have to submit a Longbangers application for you to count down, Colin.
Give me plenty of letters, but I didn't expect to know 4 or 5 letters. Wanker's about the biggest I got with 6, I think it was.
Obviously, there's a game on Apple Arcade that's called Spell Tower Plus, and if you have to kind of drag your finger across to find words out of the selection. And I used cunts, and that had a huge score. So first of all, I was delighted that it was accepted, but it was like my highest scoring word because I must have used like a triple score letter or something like that.
Because you chucked the S on the end as well.
That's it, the plural. In fact, I think I took a photo of that one and shared it with you, Colin. That's how happy I was about it. Aye.
Yep.
So I recommend that game for that very reason. Anyway, right, that's us out with questions for the night. Thanks for coming on, guys. So we've been asked a few times about doing a Euros Longbangers. We'll think about it. If anybody is desperately wanting us to do a Euros one, get in touch, and I'm sure we can manage it. We're back with another top 5 on Monday. I think we've got Dave Armstrong from Hibs TV coming on. That's following in Cliff's footsteps. A really good episode on Monday past. Loads of good feedback. So if you've not caught that already, go back and have a listen. Well worth it. In the meantime, enjoy the Euros when it kicks off tomorrow, or today, depending on when you listen to this, or yesterday, if you've got your eyes
Last
on the
week.
side of your head, and whenever the Euros is on, enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
Dry county line, I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.